Hi, and welcome back to Follow Me Friday. This week we are here at City Bank Mortgage, a local lender ran by a team of powerful women who are committed to taking care of all of your mortgage needs. All right, so let's go find out more. I'm here with City Bank Mortgage. We have Lisa Boyce and Angie Thornton here with us today, and we are going to be talking about mortgages. So really excited. All right, so what sets City Bank apart from other lenders?
I think our experience, of course, we've got combined, we won't even go how many years, but we've got a lot of very seasoned employees here, let's just say that, and we're well known in the city of Abilene. We operate our business on honesty, integrity, and mainly reliability. That's a big, huge asset for our realtor partners because we're available basically 24/7. So
yes, y'all are. They were doing loans for us all weekend. Last weekend. And they're really great too, just because they are a local lender. I mean, I think that is just so important. So how many people do you have on your team?
So currently, Citibank, now we have 8. We just have a new member join us. She was in Abilene before, worked in the title business, and she just came back and joined our team as an office Mitzi merchant, as an office assistant. Altogether, that makes 8 of us here. And Citibank's been here for 15 years. So and Lisa and most of the team have been here altogether for 10 or more years.
Yeah, they've been here a while.
Right.
Yes.
We've done mortgages in Abilene for 30 plus years. Currently, like Angie said, Citibank 15 and then 15 plus at a previous. So we're very blessed to be in Abilene.
Yes. So what all goes into getting a mortgage? You know, like I have a lot of people and they call me, you know, wanting to get a mortgage, and I have to explain the process, you know, that it's y'all that do the mortgage. So what really goes into getting a mortgage?
I always like to tell my people it's not rocket science, it's basics, where you work, how much income you have, what bills you have, and where your credit status is. We do a short interview on the phone. It's not a hard process at all. We try to screen our clients up front, make sure they know what to be prepared for. I always say ask for more up front. More is better, so we're not at the last minute scrambling for additional paperwork and documentation. But a simple interview of 15 to 20 minutes on the phone, get permission to pull credit, and we can get things rocking and rolling pretty quickly, which is very important in this market, right?
Yes, it is.
And I'll interject too, with as technology evolves, that helps our business too, like everyone. So we have a pretty streamlined, user-friendly process for an online loan application. So we do have that initial interview, and people have the option, because we're local, they can come visit with us face-to-face. We can do the interview over the phone, and then they can use the online portal, which we would use throughout the process, just to make documentation upload exchange easy and convenient if someone happens to be out of town, or in times like COVID, you know, would prefer to just stay home and do the transaction electronically. So we have that available too.
Yeah, the internet has made things so much better.
It's fast. It's fast.
So how long does the mortgage process take?
I say typically from the time we get an executed contract until closing day, typically 30 to 45 days. So with recent circumstances, there is some fluctuation in that, especially depending on what type of loan you're looking at and what's going on. It's kind of a domino effect. You know, we take into account appraisals and title and survey and all that kind of stuff. So start to finish, typically I would say from the time we get the executed contract to close, probably 30 to 45 days in there somewhere.
Awesome. And do y'all have any programs for first-time home buyers?
Angie actually really jumped out. She heard your team and the needs of your team and really sought after some great programs. So I'm going to let her tell you our first-time home buyer program. She's very proactive with our first-time home buyers.
We do. There are a couple, specifically some state agencies, some state-backed programs. There's a TDHCA program and a TSHAC program. So these are great first-time home buyers, and especially in a competitive market right now when, you know, in order to put someone in a position to be successful in their offer, we can help visit with them about if they need some help with closing costs through those down payment assistance programs. There are various options. There are several. So another reason we like to visit with them and kind of get all of that information up front so we can see what path is best for them. But we do have options for anywhere from 3 to 5% down payment assistance.
Okay.
And on one of our programs, you don't even have to be a first-time home buyer.
That's true. Yeah,
there's
right.
Down payment. Some of them have income limitations, but during our application and during our interview, we'll figure out what best suits their needs.
Okay. So what if you do not have a credit score? So many people on some of these programs, like the Dave Ramsey, they don't do credit cards. And how can you buy a house if you do not have a credit score?
So that's a great question because there's a lot of publicity out there about credit scoring. No credit score loans are a little bit of a challenge. Typically one borrower needs to have a score, but let's say your spouse didn't have a score, then if we can get these automated underwriting approvals, it's not a problem. Now our bank does have a program for a no score borrower. They have to be pretty solid, a little bit more down, and just make sure credit. We would do a manual verify of maybe rent and some utilities and just make sure that they have a good pay history. It is possible to get a loan. You just have to have a little bit more down. Credit scores, you can get a credit score within about a 6-month period, maybe by adding to a spouse's current liabilities, opening. I always recommend my first-time home buyers, if they have $500 in the bank, go get a bank loan, securing it with that money, and make a monthly payment back to themselves and kind of get a credit history going. So
that's a great idea.
Counsel them.
So what advice would you give to someone working towards buying a house?
I would say make the phone call. Make the phone call, figure out what realtor or real estate agent that you're going to use. Touch base with your local lender. We emphasize that because so many times if you're not local, I just feel like we've got skin in the game here with our agents and our clients too. We're going to run into you at the grocery store, at church, and we need to make sure that process is smooth and simple. So just contact us, let us kind of crunch numbers, see where we're at, make sure you're ready. We can go ahead and pull credit if you're scared about that. So many times we have clients that are just really worried about not qualifying. In fact, I had a young man I just talked to who was going to refi. He's like, but you're going to be really mad at me. And I'm like, what did you do? And they bought a car over the weekend, but for heaven's sakes, they didn't have any other debt, so it was no big deal. Exactly. So just take the leap and talk to a lender.
I have so many people they call and they're just so scared, can they get approved? And so then they end up renting forever when a lot of times you can buy a house and your mortgage is cheaper than what you're paying for rent, or you're getting a larger home for what your rent cost is. So I always say, go talk to a lender.
I think it's good to be informed. Sometimes you're scared of that. It's an overwhelming process, but you guys are there to walk them through the transaction side of the real estate transaction. We're there to guide through the lending process. So it's overwhelming and daunting, but we'll hold your hand through it. And I especially like to work with first-time home buyers. I'm kind of a teacher, explainer, as you can see. So I like to do that.
Angie used to be a teacher.
I did used to be a teacher. Kind of still act like one all the time, but yeah, so we got to know where we're starting so we can get a game plan in place. So it's just good to know up front.
And like what I like working with y'all too is that you're always concerned about what the payment is going to be for the homeowner. You don't want your payment to be more than what you can afford, and I think that's really important to know. Not so much like what price house that you can buy, but can you afford that monthly payment, with all of your other bills? Because nobody wants to buy a house and then be house poor. So,
right, exactly.
So how can somebody improve their credit score enough to get a mortgage if their credit's low?
That's kind of a loaded question. There's so many things that goes into that credit score that, like I said, if we'll take the leap and go ahead and visit with us, then we'll determine if maybe it doesn't even need improved. But if it does, there's certain tools that we have that we share. We're by no means credit counselors, but we do look at the history and kind of see what may need some special attention. Basically, pay your bills on time and try not to, have any little medical collections or anything slip through the cracks.
Okay.
And ratios, I think, too. Try to keep your credit card, your revolving balances
down.
30% or less of your credit limit, I think, is always a good idea, too.
Yeah. So what is your favorite part of your job?
basically it's just helping people get into their first home sometimes, second homes. It's really fun watching people. There's a lot of people in interest in investment properties. I know you're a big investor in town, but just the biggest financing commitment that they're going to enter into in their lifetime, and just kind of help them. And like Tonya said, make sure that we don't let them overcommit, and that they're comfortable with what they're getting into. What about you?
Same. I mean, I think that you become a team, you become a partnership, and you want what's best for them. So to walk them through a process that's daunting and scary, whether it's the first time or the fifth time, helping someone get in a better financial situation via refinance if it's in their best interest at that time. So, watching people, it's an emotional experience when people close on their houses. That we love to be at the closings, and to witness people realize a dream, or take a step up, and to have been able to make that journey as less stressful, as painless as we possibly can is the goal. So it's a joy to get to help people in what would otherwise be a very scary circumstance.
Yes, buying a house can be stressful, but once you get it all done, it's the best thing ever. Then you own your home, and you control your finances.
And I think too, it's a lot of the fear of the unknown. Like, what am I getting into? What does this mean? So just getting information up front, I think the anticipation of what you might face is a lot scarier than what you actually come across. So once we can get over that hump, then I think it's a sigh of relief for a lot of people.
All right. So we don't recommend people lightly. I really trust City Bank. I started using Lisa back whenever I started real estate, like 12 or 13 years ago. I don't even know how long it's been now, since 2008, I believe. They have, everybody's in-house, they're local. I know whenever I send somebody to Citibank that, they're taken care of. If there is going to be a problem, we typically always know up front. So it's so much better than using, just an online lender. I mean, because they are in town, you can actually go and talk to them, and they're really great to work with. So thank you both for being with us.
And we enjoy working with you guys.
Absolutely.
We appreciate you guys so much. We know how busy you are, and I think, we love getting to work with people from your team. So thank you.
So if they have any questions, y'all's phone number?
325-698-9597.
And your website?
Is citybankmortgageabilene.com.
Citibank. And we'll put that on the page too. So thanks for being with us, and we will see you next Friday.
When your home needs to sell, pick the price.